I'm going to give you 5 reasons for the existence of God. Reason number 1. The Earth's size is just right. If it were any different, there would be some drastic changes. If we were just even a little further or a little closer to the sun, we wouldn't exist. If we were closer to the sun, we would all burn to death. If we were a little farther from the sun, we would all freeze to death. We are in such a perfect distance from the sun that the temperature is just right for us to exist. Also, look at the axis tilt. If it is changed even just a little bit, we can't exist. The Earth rotating around the sun every 24 hours. If you change that even a little bit, we can't exist. If the planet Jupiter changed in its orbit even just a little bit, we couldn't exist. Why? Because Jupiter's gravitational pull is extremely strong that it attracts meteors to itself rather than the Earth. If you look at Jupiter, you can see craters the size of the Earth. Number 2, the cosmological argument. Our whole universe, as well as time and space, are not infinite. It cannot infinitely go back in time. It's very obvious that our universe began to exist, which in a universe where things don't just pop into existence without a cause, it's obvious that the universe had to have a cause in the first place. You honestly really have 2 choices to choose from. Either God made the heavens and the earth, or number 2, that nothing made the heavens and the earth. It just logically does not make any sense. Number 3, the universe is expanding. In 1929, Edwin Hubble was using a telescope to look into our galaxies. He was doing this at Mount Wilson Observatory in Pasadena, California. And Edwin noticed when he looked at the galaxies that they were moving away, and the universe looked like it was expanding outward. He knew this because when he looked at the galaxies, the color of the galaxies were red, which showed that the galaxies are moving away, which means that if the galaxies were moving away, that means yesterday they were a little bit closer, and the day before that they were a little bit closer, and so on, until you get all the way back to one single point. So no space, no time, no matter. And apparently, all of that came from nothing. Edwin Hubble even says, and I quote, "If time were reversed, then the universe would collapse back into nothing." Now, do you really think it's possible for all of creation to have come from nothing? You honestly have to have a lot of faith to believe in that. Rather, it looks like that nothing is actually God that created the time, space, and matter. Number 4, the second law of thermodynamics. Before I even get to this point, I want to say that even Stephen Hawking admits that time, space, and matter all came from nothing. He just decides to use a different explanation than God. But the second law of thermodynamics predicts the end of the universe, that all of the universe is running down and running out of energy. Ultimately, our sun will burn down and burn out, and we will go into what is called a heat death. Everything in this universe is winding down, which obviously means someone had to have wound it up in the beginning. Who do you think wound it up in the beginning? Was it nothing? Number 5. We all know that it's wrong to murder. When we look at what terrorist groups have done, we know that the things that they have done is very wrong. I would say, since we know that, there has to be a God. Why? Because if there's no standard beyond humanity, then everything is just a matter of an opinion, or your opinion compared to a terrorist's opinion. But since we know certain things are actually morally right and morally wrong, there has to be some sort of standard beyond us, some sort of objective standard, an authoritative moral standard that we might call good, right, and justice, that exist independent of what we think about it. Also think, why is justice and fairness a good thing?